Yeah, really cool updates in here, and thanks for having me. So I'm actually, the other two engineers from Prophone are on this call as well, but I'm the CTO of a company called Prophone. We centralize and streamline communication for service professionals, which generally includes like plumbers, lawn care professionals, electricians, like all these folks that, sort of small business, typically less than 10 people probably. And they face a lot of issues around communicating, and particularly they lose a lot of leads that they pay for because they're on jobs and things like that. So that's what we do. And we currently use Hasura and Twilio to do so. We more or less started this company in January of this year, and the company started back in January. We went through Y Combinator, raised some money after that, and recently hired some new folks, and now we're here. And so due to a sort of little bit of a critical error yesterday, my slide presentation is going to be a little bit limited, but I'm still going to show it. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. This has been a minute since I have had to do this, so you'll have to forgive me. This is like calling on high school skills right now with the screen sharing and stuff. Give me a moment here. So I want to start with why we picked Hasura in the first place. And largely that was because of the speed with which we get started. I had built things using GraphQL in the past, and it can be fairly cumbersome to manage a lot of this stuff, and I knew that I didn't want to spend the time doing that again. And so Hasura seemed like I think I was picking between that and one other thing. I knew that since we were going through Y Combinator and I needed to stand this up very quickly, that this would take care of a lot of the resolver kind of issues and give me a lot of the functionality that I wanted right out of the box. And so that was the big motivation. I did know that I was going to face a lot of problems with Twilio, but not nearly as many as we ended up actually facing. And so I don't know if anyone has, on this call utilized Twilio, but it can be really easy at times and straightforward, and very many other times it is just an absolute headache. It is insane to me that this is a public company. And so let's get into how we actually use Twilio at Prophone. So we use a number of Twilio's different services, some of their primary ones. The more popular ones will be phone numbers and voice, and that is utilized for when these pros are either creating or porting their phone numbers to be sort of their business phone number rather than their personal number. We use Twilio to manage those phone numbers, as well as making calls, voicemails, things like that through Prophone, subsequently through Twilio. So the other chunk of things, of the functionality that we have, revolves around sending messages, MMS, SMS, that kind of stuff. And for that, we use a new service Twilio offers, relatively new that is, called Conversations. It allows you to manage the conversations themselves, the users, and most notably, sending notifications to devices. It's really cool. You get to have your users. I can show you sort of our app running. So here, I am able to send a message from our application, and users will receive it as text messages. And when those same users send messages from their phones, they will be seen here. And so you can centralize all of this communication, and each party will get notifications. In order to achieve that, we use Twilio's messaging and Conversations. And then Notify is another service that we use for just sort of custom notifications that we want to send here or there. How does this work overall, and how does this begin to like on our end work with Hasura? We have our client applications like our mobile app, our website generator. Currently, they talk either directly to Hasura, or they talk to, oh, sorry, I forgot one in here, which is Auth0. So they will talk to either Hasura, Auth0 directly, or the Express server that we have. And then for deployment, we use Expo, which has a CI/CD service. Here sort of in lies one of the issues that, or one of the challenges that I would say that we face most often. Hasura does not generally currently for us talk to Twilio, and that's one of the exciting challenges that we have ahead of us, is to really pull away from this Express server. That, like, overall one of our challenges is to keep the data in sync, right? Between Twilio, between Hasura. I have actually pulled them up here on our end. This is our development environment. And so as you can see, there's these business context conversations and stuff like that. And not all of the information that we store, that we have in Twilio is in Hasura. And so it's really using the IDs and things like that to keep things in sync, that allows us to do what we do. One of our challenges then is to try to make it so that the client applications purely talk to, excuse me, Hasura. And that is something I'm very excited about. What Hasura, though, has allowed us is to not worry so much about getting the data to the client applications in a way that allows our customers to have their business depend entirely on our platform, right? So that's where I would say we spend most of our time. The Express server basically entirely exists to facilitate that connection, right? And make sure that if data is being created in Twilio, that there is a mirror of that or some kind of representation of that in Hasura. Other places, I just think that we are not utilizing Hasura to the extent that we can be, and that's why I'm so excited to be, a member of this community and hearing the kind of things that are coming up, because these are all things that I feel like, Hasura is sort of this extension of our own team, and so I want to provide more answers to the sort of Twilio experience. I think that just would be sort of its own talk, and so if anybody has any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them in the community chat, but it's just a very extensive platform with a lot of pain points. And so that's a little bit about how we use Hasura and Twilio together. I think it'll become more sophisticated over time, and I'm excited to see, how Hasura makes that just so much easier for us. Yeah, thank you so much.